storming bracket.
What's going on, everyone? So welcome to my latest review. This is, of course, for A Small Engine Repair, which is a 2021 independent drama film that I knew absolutely nothing about going to this film. Didn't know the premise, didn't watch the trailer, didn't even know who the actors and actresses were going into it. And what I will say is I would highly recommend that you go into this film knowing that. Just that, because this is a film that definitely benefits of knowing as little as possible. And if you guys do want to know a little bit more about this movie, I'll get into it in a little bit. But again, I would highly advise that you watch this film knowing nothing. Now that I have that out of the way, of course, this is going to be a spoiler-free review. I hate spoilers, but wow, what a film. So overall, I was impressed by a lot of this film. I do think overall that it's just okay, but there is a lot worth praising, for sure, here. Like, for one, I really dug the shift of tone. Tone, genre, holy cow. Like, the tone subtly shifts, you know, when it gets in the second half. But not only that, the genre feels very jarring until you think about the tone and you think about the dialogue, and then it really kind of clicks and it makes sense, and how there's been little crumbs that have been throughout the film to kind of, you know, have it where if we as audience members rewatch the movie, or even if we think about it, it's like, oh, that makes sense as to how it got to this point. And again, being vague here because I was surprised, man. And my friend that I saw this with also was pretty surprised because it's very interesting. It's very interesting. And I have to say, props goes to the actors that play the three lead characters because their friendship is so palpable. And you really do get a feeling that these are characters that have been friends with for years. And it's funny because obviously these actors haven't been friends for years. So to see that dynamic of these three characters and make it feel like they have been friends for years, it's admirable. It just showcases the great acting. But not only that, it shows the great writing because, again, you really feel like you do fully get to understand these characters and how fully fleshed out they are. But on top of that, you also have these characters have killer lines of dialogue. I mean, the comedic timing is so amazing. I was surprised that this film was a comedy. I was not expecting that. It's very dark humor for sure, but I really liked it. I found myself laughing quite a bit, to be honest. Cinematography is also worth praising. I at first had a difficult time getting into it just because of like the overbearing gray. But I will say the color gray, as the film progressed, I really kind of got into it and the naturalistic approach that this movie was going for with the look. And I also thought that the camera movement was pretty good. It wasn't really moving at all. And I personally usually like it when the camera moves and everything. But I can also appreciate it when a camera is mostly on a tripod and the director decides to go with that kind of technique. I can appreciate that. But another thing that's worth mentioning is, holy cow, the themes and messages. They're very subtle until they're not subtle. But I feel like by the time they aren't subtle, I feel like it's warranted because the film's literally been building up to it. But we as audience members didn't really realize it until certain things kind of occur. You'll know it when you see it. Believe me, there's an event that shifts the film into like a holy cow kind of moment. And again, you'll know it when you see it. Trust me. It had me smiling, but also I was like this. I was like, oh my goodness, it's great. What I will say though is, as I mentioned earlier, I do think that this film is just okay because there are things that are kind of holding it back. For one, although I, again, really dug the approach of shifting into a different genre, unfortunately, the film did have me for a 10-15 minute portion of the film kind of wondering, where is this movie going? I get it's a slice of life movie, but where's it going? You know, I wonder how it's going to end because it just seems like they're just talking. And I'm fine with talking. I love films that have it where it's like one setting, just characters talking and everything. I can appreciate that. But I just got to a point where I just kind of was like, okay, now what? And I usually don't have that approach, but I also do have to say, in my opinion, slice of life films are very subjective. It's similar to comedy, honestly, because slice of life films, if you really resonate with these individuals, then you won't be bored. But if you don't, you might check out. For myself, I found it to be kind of like an in-between. Like, I personally am not able to relate to these characters. I don't really do the stuff that they do, but I was able to get behind it because, again, of all the things I mentioned earlier. But again, it just got to a point where there was like 10-15 minutes where I was kind of like, now what? The other thing I wanted to mention is that I thought that the resolution itself also was a bit too tidy. I get why some people might like it, and for me, it wasn't bad per se, but it was definitely something that I was kind of like scratching my head with. I was like, I feel like they should have kind of took it to the next level, so to speak, but they didn't. But again, these are like minor nitpicks. It's not a bad film by any means. Again, I do appreciate it, and I do, again, think that watching this film is definitely something that everyone should do because it's a film that, again, has a lot to say and it's important with what it does have to say. And again, in my eyes, I think it's important that people hear it. So for myself, again, I would definitely recommend this movie. And Small Engine Repair, I will be giving a 3.25 out of 5-star rating, which for those like a hot sauce rating, it's the good old Frank's Red Hot Sauce. So yeah, almost gave it a 3.5 out of 5 for the Texas Pete. It was close, but I decided 3.25. But yeah, guys, Small Engine Repair. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below if you've seen it. Again, if you have, comment section below. And as always, don't forget the subscription, notification bell, and I'll catch you guys later.